This may not give 1,000 people homes at a time, but I'm sure even if it solves 1% of this problem, it's going to make a lot of difference. There's an interesting reality in our communities that governments can actually leverage to solve or at least reduce this housing problem. You know how almost every housing program targets people who do not have, but almost no one asks, what about the people who have something, people who own lands already, but no money to build it? There are also people who don't have anything to start with. No land, no money, income too little. So let's pull out of that and look into what happens with every housing project and how we always look for land and how the government is always ready to subsidize or provide some sort of subsidy for this set of people. So here's my proposal, which is simply to pair the haves and the have-nots. So let's say Mr. Ojo has a plot of land that he cannot develop, but we have a Mr. Ade and Mrs. Ngozi that don't have land but yet qualify for some sort of housing subsidy or even housing program. So instead of looking for fresh land, we just take Mr. Ojo's land, divide it into three, give Mrs. Ngozi a part, Mr. Ade a part, and Mr. Ojo takes the rest. And in return for that land that Mr. Ojo has given us, we give him housing credit, which can return to him as a loan, as cash, or as any form of reimbursement that will help him develop his own property. And for Mr. Ade and Mrs. Ngozi, since they already qualify for housing loan or even housing, we then offer them this assistance that allows them to build. And I reckon that now you're wondering, how would they balance the value of the land? Or what happens if the value of the housing does not match the value of the land? And that can always be addressed on a one-on-one basis. But what will eventually happen with this small arrangement is that number one, the government will save time and money. In fact, because this process will help the government gather data to harmonize and regularize land registry. This will help the government make more revenue in the future, while also achieving its purpose of providing better housing solutions in the present. Second is, due to the creativity in this, the government no longer has to provide fully completed houses, as the owners can now build incrementally and expand their homes as their situations improve. Another opportunity in this is, the government can then leverage these new relationships and new form of community development to structure a controlled form of organic city development. And lastly, for cities like Abuja and Lagos, there will be no longer need to have a different pricing structure for housing programs because now the cost of construction evens out and matches that of other states. So this is one of those reasons why I always advocate community-led housing, because it doesn't always need money to start and plan. Of course, you need money to execute. And this kind of program will need good planning. But at the end of the day, any successful project is as good as how well it was planned. I hope this helps.